welcome to a class that is all about the sun. Sorry for those of you that have sunshine currently, but here it's more or less grey for the whole week. And that's why I decided to go with the sun and also to maybe have a block nearby. So for the block, you might need that at the front edge of your mat. So you could place it there if you like, but you could also use it as we start in a seated position. So if you feel the block would be useful for you to sit upon, please do so. And if it is hard for you to sit in an easy pose, you can sit in any way you like. If it is okay for you to have one leg in front of the other, not even really crossed, you could sit like that and resting your hands down to begin with. Now, when I'm saying this class is about the sun, I mean that we will draw lots of suns around us, but it's also about Manipura chakra or the solar plexus area. And in other traditions, there's different names for the same energy center, such as a dantian. When we think about this energy center of ours, it's about empowering ourselves. It's about inner strength, self-esteem. It is about willpower as well and assertiveness. But it's also about anger and on the other hand about joy. So depending on whether we are balanced there or we aren't, we might get a little bit fired up. And there's nothing wrong with anger when it arises. We can utilize that energy to actually make a change and break down some barriers. So don't shy away when you're feeling a little bit angry every now and then. It might be useful for you to get that boost of energy to move on from. So while you have your hands resting now, let's tilt the pelvis a little bit. See if you want to circle it, tilt it forward and back, or whatever feels right for you. Getting a sense of more groundedness towards the earth. And then when you find a steady spot in the center, breathe in and let your belly relax. And as you breathe out, will naturally come a bit in, but leave it relaxed for now. When you next inhale, let your hands slide a bit forward towards the knees and create some space around your shoulder blades. And when you're breathing out, draw the shoulders and the shoulder blades back. As we're lifting here from the ribs, you might then choose to find a middle ground where your shoulders are kind of back, but still relaxed. I'll ask you then to wobble the head, finding ways of moving the head, so to explore any potential tension or discomfort. Then when you're ready, you can lift the head and center that too. As you find your seated position, you could choose to have your eyes closed, or if you steady them, it might not be against the screen, but just below. We will create a few movements with our arms that look like the sun. I will encourage you to move both of your arms, but I will only move one arm. That is to protect my shoulder issue currently. So your arms will both move as you inhale to reach them out and up, and imagining you're drawing a sun around you, maybe lifting the gaze up towards the sky. And when you're breathing out, drawing that same sun back down by your sides. So moving nice and slowly, imagining you're drawing a huge yellow sun around you as you inhale. And also as you exhale, repeating that once again, breathing in and out. And when the exhale finishes here, resting your hands directly onto your solar plexus area, the space between the navel and the rib cage. One hand rests there on top of the other. The elbows are snug in by the sides. Eyes might be closed now. I invite you to chant for 2 rounds, a short sound of Om, a universal sound, directly followed by Ram. Ram is the sound of the solar plexus or Manipura chakra. We'll do this for 3 rounds as we inhale to start with the first. Om Ram. Om Ram. Om Ram. Allowing to feel into the sounds, vibrations. And then releasing your fingertips down behind your back. And no matter whether you're sitting on something or you're on, you might bring your feet forward, and some might even lift their feet off the ground or balancing both. And then changing the cross of the legs as we land again in our seat. We will take cactus arms out on an inhalation, and on the exhalation, twisting. Inhaling, coming to center, and exhaling to twist to the other side. Keep that going a couple more times to each side. Using the lengths of your own breathings, never need to rush anything. Just getting our spine warmed up in a twist without assistance of the arms. When you come back to the center, you completed your rounds, let your hands come to rest down again. We'll practice a few rounds of Bhastrika Pranayama, a breathing technique where the belly is pumping in and out. Please be careful if you've had any food before this practice. Maybe only practicing that very gently, or retreating back to just full diaphragmatic belly breathing. If you like the technique, there's an arm movement that could go with it. And you would extend both arms up, spreading out your fingers. When you inhale, the belly comes out. When you exhale, the belly pulls in actively and you're pulling down with the arms. So let's do that. Inhaling, belly comes out with or without the arms. Exhaling, pulling the belly in. The breath flows in and out of the nose. Continue for a few more rounds. You can take this much faster if you like. And breathing in slowly, out slowly, keeping the arms rested and observing yourself. If you have chosen to sit on something, and if that was your block, then please place it towards the short end of the mat. Otherwise, just off the mat in general, you might want to release a few layers of clothing if your space is warm enough. And we will come into a standing position at the front edge of the mat. I will turn myself forward though, and so you can see me. As we come to stand, our feet will become parallel, so the outer edges of the feet are, which means when you look down, your big toes are lightly turned inwards. The palms of the hands, as usual, are pointing towards the front as we stand in Tadasana or mountain pose. We will keep drawing a sun around us. As you breathe in, raising both arms out and up. As you breathe out, making cactus arms and coming into a light twist so your pelvis stays facing forward. On the inhale, let your arms reach out and up as you draw the sun around you. With the exhale, then twisting to the other side. Inhaling, repeat. Draw a sun around you. With the exhale, hips to the front, upper body twist. Inhaling, draw a big sun. Exhaling for the twist. Once more to each side as you breathe in, drawing a sun around you. On the exhale, go for a twist. Inhale, draw a sun. Exhale, go for a twist. Breath in to lift the sun up around you again. But then soften your knees. And as you breathe out, slowly folding forwards. On the inhale, lengthen the spine towards the front, a half lift. And as you breathe out, step your right foot back, but not too far, just about 1 meter, and place it out to hip distance. We'll draw a sun around us, keeping the front knee bend as you inhale to lift up for a warrior one. And as you're breathing out, come back to your cactus arms and turn to the side where your knee is. We'll keep turning to that same side. As you breathe in, draw the sun around you. And as you're breathing out, go back into the twist. Let's continue like that. Find your own pace, your breath. And holding your last twist now. The next movement is entirely optional and you can take it in the stages, exploring it if you like. Lifting the back heel off the floor, realigning the foot. Leaning the weight slightly forwards. Extending the arms at shoulder height, or placing your left hand into the side of the waist, but keeping the shoulder back. Reaching down with your right hand to hold onto a block. Lifting the back foot off the ground as you might flex your back foot. And then stepping the foot down and releasing your hands to the mat. Take the other foot back into a plank or a kneeling plank. Breathe out and lower down onto the front of the body. Let your forehead come to rest and take your arms back out into about shoulder height. If your lower back is fine, you can ground your feet down to the mat. Otherwise, they may lift. As you inhale, lift the head, the chest, and your arms. With an out breath, squeeze down the side of the waist. Inhale, center. Exhale, squeeze down on the other side. Repeating that once more to each side. Just a squeeze into the side of the waist, leaving the arms floating. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the other side. As you inhale, come back to center. Breathe out and lower the forehead down. Slide your hands down by the sides of your lower ribs. And inhale to come to all fours. And then tuck your toes under and stretch your hips up and back for a puppy pose. You're welcome, as usual, to practice from all fours. If it feels right for you, then lift the knees off the ground and find a downward facing dog. I encourage you to move that down dog as you could pedal out your legs, get a bit of a swing into the hips. And then keep walking the feet slowly back to the front end of the mat. A half lift here as you breathe in. A forward fold as you breathe out. Keep your knees bent and lift the sun up around you as you inhale and rise to stand. And with the exhale, let the sun move back down into the mountain. Standing tall, strong, outer edges of your feet aligned again. We will repeat. With an in-breath, drawing a sun around you, bright and yellow. As you exhale, keep your pelvis facing forward and go for a twist, cactus arms. Inhaling, raise up the sun. Exhaling, cactus arm twist to the other side. Repeat again, couple more times to each side. Think about the yellow sun that you paint around you and then go for a twist to stimulate the energy center. When you next draw a sun around you, soften your knees and breathe out to fold forward. On the inhale, lengthen your spine into a half lift. On the out breath, step your left foot half meter back and out to hip distance. Keep a bend in your front knee. And rise up with the sun in your arms as you lift up for warrior one. With the exhale, twist your warrior towards the front knee. We keep moving towards that side. On the inhale, lift the sun up. On the exhale, twist. 3 more rounds, moving in your pace. We'll hold again our last twist. There's time for anyone to catch up or pause a bit longer. And the same on this side, everything optional. Raising the back heel to realign the foot. Leaning a little forward. Opening the arms or resting the right hand into the side of the waist. Reaching down for the block. And lifting up the foot. Flexing the foot. Revolved half moon. And as you point the toes, You can step it back down, hands to the mat, kneeling or full plank again. Breathing in. On the exhale, lower down onto the front of your body. Rest the forehead down onto the mat. Let your arms spread back out in cactus style. Same options here, grounding through the feet or lower back pain, lifting them off the floor. As you inhale, lift the head, the chest, your arms. Breathe out and squeeze down one side of the waist. Inhaling center. Exhale, repeat to the other. Once more to each side, if that's available to you, holding your cactus arms as you're squeezing into the sides of the waist. When you complete it, lower down in the center. Slide your hands back by the sides of the ribs. Breathe in as you come onto all fours. Tuck the toes under, stretching the hips up and back for a puppy, or lifting the knees off the mat for a downward dog. Feel free to still move this down dog if that serves you well. And maybe walking the feet in small steps back to the front edge of the mat. And in-breath as you straighten your spine forward, half lift. Then soften your knees as you fold again, exhale. Lift the sun back out around you as you take your next inhale, rising up to stand. And with the exhale, let the arms release again into the mountain. Palms of the hands facing forward. Steady gaze or eyes closed. Standing strong and tall. We'll change things. I will also step towards the short edge of the mat. We will let the sun rise with the arms as you inhale, but also lifting your right knee. Come back to the cactus arms and twist towards the right knee as a balance. You're always welcome to have a toe on the ground if required. With the inhale, let your arms reach back up then. Bring the hands to the heart and step the foot back. Even lower the heel down. Let your front knee align over your ankle and then with your toes. And extending both arms out to shoulder height as you breathe in. Let the shoulders be at ease and your drishti be forward, right over your fingertips. That's your gaze point. Get a sense of your feet pulling in, so you're standing even stronger, taller. And with each inhale, let the palms of your hands turn up. With each out breath, roll the arms back downwards. As you continue that, keep your gaze steady towards the front, just rolling the arms and the shoulders. And as you do so, keep the breath going. Soften through the joints in the arms, although we're maintaining our strong stance. And when you then next inhale and your palms are facing up, hold that. And as you breathe out, exalt the warrior. Maybe have a subtle chin tuck here. Keep your front knee bent and active. The hand behind is resting softly. Get a sense of lifting from your solar plexus. And maybe join in one chant, just the Ram, inhaling. Ram. Let your back knee soften, your arm roll in, and let your back heel lift up. And as you breathe in, lift the right arm and rest your left hand to the back of your right thigh. If you're looking up, keep a chin tuck happening and reach up from a bent knee towards the right hand fingertips. Inhale. On the exhale, releasing your hands down onto the mat. Step it back into plank or kneeling plank. Now, if you don't want to flow this time, you could stretch back into child's pose, or you could lower down on the out breath. On the in breath, there's a cobra or an upward facing dog. And on the out breath, you can have yourself back into puppy pose or downward facing dog. Whichever is your choice is perfectly fine. Think about grounding down through the hands. Maybe you still have a physical desire to move, and that's fine too. You could pedal out through the legs, move through your arms, through your hips if you choose to. We will move again now together on all fours or from your downward dog. When you breathe in, lift your right leg up. With your breath out, bring your knee to your chest and land your foot forward. Shorten the stance with the back foot for warrior one, so in the length of 1 meter apart and out into hip distance. Keep your front knee at a bend. Raise the arms up like the rising sun as you're breathing in. And with the out breath, twist again. Same side towards the knee and hold. If you prefer to stay here, perfect. If you want to lift the heel again, do so. Tilting the body forward. Arms might be extending, and you could use your hand down on a block. You might lift the leg from behind, flexing the foot. There's also an option now to extend the arm. And let your feet land parallel. Soften the body down into a standing forward fold. On the in-breath, straighten your back to the front, half lift. Exhale and fold. As you leave your knees, bend, draw a big sun around you and lift your arms up, inhaling. And with the exhale, landing again in the mountain posture. To find your tall, strong stance. Steady the gaze again. As we stand here at the front edge of the mat, draw a sun around you with your next inhale and lift your left knee. With the exhale, come into cactus arms and twist towards that knee. Foot is in flexion. Inhale, lift the sun up. Hands to the heart as you breathe out, and a big step back, lowering the heel down. Bending your front knee again over your ankle and align it with your toes. As you inhale, let both arms extend out to a warrior two at shoulder height. Gaze point at your front hand fingertips. Feet pulling in a bit to lift you up. Shoulders soft. For a few rounds, on the inhale, turn the arm around, palm upwards. On the exhale, rotate back down. Do so with both of your arms if possible. Keep your gaze at the hand at the front, but let your arm move through soft joints so the rotation can be felt all the way up towards the shoulder. When you next inhale, leave the palm facing up. And when you exhale, exalt the warrior. As you reach up and back, the legs are unchanged. Your solar plexus is lifting upwards. And there's the option of joining in for the chant of one Ram. Let's breathe in. Ram. You bend your back knee, let your arm roll in, raising the back heel off the mat. Inhaling, the left arm is lifting. Right hand fingertips to the back of the left thigh. Have a little bend in the left knee as you lift again from your fingertips, opening through the front, solar plexus shining open. Breathe in again. And as you're exhaling, release. Let your hands come to the mat. You will come into full and kneeling plank. And as you breathe out, you might lower on to the mat. Halfway. As you breathe in, there's a cobra or an upward dog. And on the out breath, could be a puppy or a downward facing dog. Finding your stance again, and maybe there's a bit of steadiness possible as you ground through the bases, the pads of your fingers, lifting your tailbone high and broadening the space between the shoulder blades. We'll move together again as you inhale to extend your left leg up and back. And with the exhale, bringing the foot forward. Let's shorten the stance with the back foot stepping a little bit in and out towards the side, giving a bend into your front knee. Rise up together with the sun as you lift your arms, inhale. And then twist again towards your knee, cactus arms. You're most welcome to stay exactly here. But you could also raise the back heel. Maybe leaning a little bit forward. Either bringing your left hand to the side or opening your arms. You might reach for a block if you want to take it even further. Maybe then lifting the back foot for a revolved half moon. If the foot's off the floor, please flex it so the toes are pointing down. And then land your foot next to the other and release all the way down into a forward bend. Inhale, straighten your spine to the front for a half lift. And breathe out to fold again. Soften the knees. Rise up, draw a big sun around you as you inhale. And with the exhale, let the arms release. Come back down by the sides. Palms of the hands facing forward. Let the energy settle as you steady your gaze. Or close the eyes. Finding an even, full, deep breath. Let us come to balance. Not that we haven't done that yet. So I will turn myself sideways because we will step back from that balance. We will place the weight more towards the left foot. And we'll bend the right knee, but the foot comes up behind. If it is possible for you to take a hold of the foot or the ankle from the outside, please do so. Otherwise, you might keep the foot in the air there. Keep your knees to touch. Draw your heel towards the buttocks and then move your hips forward. As you might experience a stretch over the quads, you could lift your left arm, index and thumbs might be touching. Please extend the arm fully upwards. And then let's lift from the solar plexus as you breathe in. The knee lifts up from behind. If you're holding the foot, bring the foot into the hand. Keep your solar plexus leading you into the stanza or Natarashasana, keeping a steady gaze point here. One more breath in. And as you exhale, step the foot back. Release your arms and turn your toes out towards the corners of the mat. We'll come into a movement that's a take on another twist. We'll lift the arms out like cactus arms, inhaling. Bending one knee, and as you breathe out, take the opposite hand towards the knee. Let the other arm wrap behind your back. With the in-breath then, come back up to stand, cactus arms out. Bend the other knee, opposite hand towards it. Wrap the other arm behind for a twist. And then keep that flowing. Inhaling, standing. Exhaling, bend and twist. Again, please flow this in your own pace. There's no need to rush anything. Use the length of your breathing to move. Then come back into standing as you breathe in and draw a big sun around you. Interlace the fingers over your head, Charlie's Angel's Mudra, index fingers pointing up. 3 rounds of chopping wood. As you breathe out through the mouth, bend your knees and swing it down. Inhale, lift your solar plexus. And last one, keep it low. Bend your hands down and turn your heels out. The outer edges of the feet are aligned again. Lengthening your spine forward, inhaling. And with the exhale, plant the hands underneath the shoulders and fold. Gently raising the shoulders into the shoulder socket. Keeping the weight sitting forward within the grounded feet. Maybe there's a micro bend in the knees if they're completely straight, but legs can be bent as well. Allow yourself to lengthen the exhalation and stay here for a few more breaths. With your next inhalation, lift back up onto the fingertips, turning your left toes back to the front end of the mat, the heel lightly to the back end. And as you inhale, let your upper body hang back down, and with the out breath, roll it up. Breathing in, let your arms extend out for warrior 2 and breathe out to settle into it. As you lift your back heel, lift the sun up around you, inhale. And you can use your hand on your thigh if you like and step it forward, returning into the mountain. As again, we're standing at the short edge of the mat. Tall in a mountain pose. Let your weight shift lightly to your right foot and bend your left knee backwards. You're welcome to just stay here, or if it's possible, take a hold from the outside of your foot or your ankle. Bring your knees to touch, your heel to your buttocks, and move your hips forward. You could then touch index and thumb together and raise the right arm. As you breathe in, lift your solar plexus. The knee and the foot might rise behind. If your foot is in your hand, bring it actively into the hand. Let your solar plexus lead you into the stanza, Natarashasana, keeping a steady gaze point. Inhale. As you exhale, step the foot back again. Once again, turn your toes towards the corners of the mat. We will move again into the twist, but you could this time keep your legs straight, only an option. As you breathe in, find your cactus arms. On the out breath, wrap the arms and twist. Inhale, cactus arms. Opposite hand to the leg, arm might come behind. Inhaling, rise to stand. If you want both arms to be extended, you could lift the arm upwards. Inhaling, exhaling for the twist. Breath in, cactus arms. Exhaling, twist. Inhaling, cactus arms. And last twist here as you breathe out. As you inhale, draw a sun around you and raise the arms. Change the interlace for another Charlie's Angels Mudra, index fingers pointing up. 3 more rounds of wood chopping. Lift the sun, inhale, chop it down. Inhale, and the last one, keep it low, release the mudra, fingertips down, heels are coming out. So again, the outer edges of the feet are parallel. And if you feel this way inclined, you can slide your fingers underneath the outer edges of the feet. Maybe lengthening the spine forward as you do so on an in-breath. And then as you're folding, let your elbows spread out sideways. Keep your shoulders gently lifted into the shoulder socket. And the weight, same as in the previous round, sit slightly forward in the feet. The heels stay on the mat though. Lengthening once more the out breaths for the downward flowing energy. Simply holding and breathing deeply. As you can release your hands from underneath the feet, bring them back in front. Come to your fingertips as you lengthen your spine. Turning now your right toes forward, the left heel gently back. And as you inhale, let the upper body hang down. And with the out breath, rolling it up. As you inhale, let both of your arms extend out to shoulder height and bring your gaze forward over the front hand fingertips. Vira 2, Warrior 2. As you lift the heel off the ground, draw a sun around you, inhaling. But this time, bring your hands down and your knees down. With your knees at about hip distance apart, let your hands come back just in front of the knees, but have them wider, about shoulder distance apart. Your fingers are spread onto the mat. Now, if you've got pressure issues in the head or high blood pressure, please stay here. If you don't, you can try and tuck the chin in towards the throat. And maybe even resting the top of the head to the mat. If you haven't changed anything, when you're looking back, your elbows will be straight over your wrists. This is just perfect as it is. I would ask you to try and ground the hands into the mat, while at the same time you're keeping your shoulders lifted into the sockets. This is a full posture, a take on the rabbit, just a bit more supported. If unlike me, you don't have any neck or shoulder problems currently, you could tuck your toes under and extend your legs as if you were moving into a downward dog. If you do so, there's much more weight coming into the head, so please keep your elbows in by your sides. and your shoulders lifted, so that there's some weight bearing taken away from the head and into the hands. If any of you feel adventurous and you know where this goes, you could take it a bit further, but I won't instruct that, so that you're definitely safe at home. To release from this posture, if you did raise your knees, place them gently back down onto the mat on an in-breath. Let's untuck the toes and sit the buttocks back to the heels. You can take your hands out in front and stack your fists. So when you rest the forehead onto the stacked fists, the head goes back in alignment with the heart. If you want your head lower, you could have a full child's pose instead, with your hands next to your feet. Let's allow a couple more breaths here. Then rolling your sitting bones over to one side before extending your legs out long in front. I've already moved a little bit forward here on my mat, so my feet are aligning with the front of the mat. There's also a chance right now to find your socks and put them back on. You do not need any grip on the mat anymore, so it would be fine to do so. As we sit here, we will bring our right leg up, placing the sole of the foot onto the ground, either with a gap to the extended leg or stepping the foot across the leg. If you find that's all right, you can place your right hand fingertips behind and hold onto the knee with the opposite hand or the opposite elbow. As you push your fingertips into the floor and hug your knee into your chest, inhale to sit a bit taller. And then as you're breathing out, you're turning towards the knee to hold in a twist. Keep your knee drawn in towards you. And let with each breath, the solar plexus area move into your thigh, and then gently retreat when you're breathing out. And just focusing on the solar plexus being stimulated with the hug of the knee for a few breaths. With the next inhalation, turn the head forward. With the out breath, bring both hands behind and then extending your legs out long. Let your left foot come in, and you can draw it in. If you want to keep your foot inside of the leg, there's a gap between the foot and the leg. And if not, you can step your foot across. Let your left hand fingertips end up behind you. Opposite hand or elbow wraps around the knee. The other foot is in a flexion as you draw yourself up tall in your seat, inhaling. And with the out breath again, turn towards your bent knee. You can close the eyes. And your whole awareness is moving in towards Manipura, the solar plexus, as it moves on the inhalation into the leg and then retreats away from it again on the exhalation. Let that flow for a few breaths and keep your awareness there. When you're next inhaling, just turning the head forward first. And as you breathe out, bring your fingertips back behind, extending your legs out long. Your option to keep the legs long and to lift your arms, or to bend the knees first and then to lift the arms. The second variation can end up a bit stronger than the first, as you could lift your feet, finding a boat pose, lengthening the spine, inhale, and with the exhale, slowly releasing onto the mat. As you relax your body down, we've twisted, we bend forward. Hopefully the body is feeling balanced, but if it doesn't, have that little movement to guide it towards the inner balance. And you could then prop yourself up, a little cushion under the head, a bolster, rolled up blanket under the knees, or covering yourself with a blanket for comfort. As you come to lie down there, you can close the eyes. And if your mind is a bit busy, you could also just steady your gaze. Allowing your body to come into stillness. Manipura, the solar plexus, our power center. It's like any muscle in the body and can be developed consciously. They say knowledge is power. Could mean that most powerlessness is the result of ignorance about how to behave effectively. It may be simply a lack of awareness or attention. Increasing our awareness increases power. Think inertia, get moving, breaking attachments, resistance, grounding, attention, anger, joy. As you rest, you could imagine that the divine light of the sun lights up everything. Especially when you're feeling saddened or seeing everything in dull colors. Imagine how the sun rises and wraps everything in the warm, pleasant light. Become aware that you carry this light within you always. And that you can decide at any time to let the sun rise within you. And you might do exactly that as you lie there resting, expanding this light that shines within you, around your solar plexus, into the whole of your being. I will leave you with that visualization for a little while I mind the time. allowing your body to be filled with the light of the sun, warm, powerful, joyful. As you start to deepen your breath, bringing back gentle movements to fingers and toes. Maybe starting to stretch out if that feels right. And then joining me either by rolling to the side or sitting up over the front in a seated position. Resting your hands once more onto Manipura, the solar plexus. Feeling the breath moving in and out of the hands. We'll finish with just one chant of a short Om, followed directly by a Ram, the seed sound of the chakra. Let's breathe in to do so together. Om Ram. Deeply connected to this inner light and inner strength. We're extending from our own power to that of everybody else with a light bow. Namaste.